I never had a nickname. Just, hey, you.
Okay, so
So you're
yeah,
recording
when
now?
you're ready, Gary, we can start. now.
All right, let's open the meeting officially. Clunk. I just
Okay.
slammed
So
the
the
gavel.
The first thing is approving the minutes from February 8th, and I can screen share them if you need.
Sure.
That'd be great.
Okay. In theory.
There you go.
I was saying in order of appearance. It's like a movie, the credits.
Mike got the leading role this time.
Yes.
I moved to approved. I rhyme everything, I guess. Do you see? Did you see that, Wendy?
Where's that?
The right after 6 p.m. meeting commenced. It says O'Brien moved to approved.
Moved to approve. Move to approve. Moved to approve. Okay,
There we go.
I'm still listening to my dog barking. She's driving me up the wall. Tell me when you
We-
need it scrolled.
We should probably add, Wendy, that what do you call it, Mike and Gary, that besides the truck and the chassis or whatever, the cab and the chassis part, the engine truck, that we have to actually purchase the body and the body package, right? Or
Right.
the dump package. What's that
Right.
called, Mike?
I guess I'd call it the plow or plow and sander.
Does it
I mean,
Does it-
that's-
does it come with the dump back on it?
No, the truck we're buying is just a cab and chassis.
Okay,
And so the plow and body, dump body and sander is separate. Has
So
to
maybe-
come-
we should just add in dump body, Wendy.
Yeah,
So after the purchase of the truck, will need to be outfitted with a dump body?
With it. Yeah,
Well, you could just add to that plow and
Yeah.
sand, the
Yeah.
body.
after sander, yeah.
just put dump body.
Is that what we got and what we need?
Yep,
Sense, okay.
I can see, I'm the next sentence down, I'm made the motion to accept the resignation of E. Vermer as the library trustee effective, right?
Effective.
It's like a pandemic, everything's effective. Did that work out with Laura getting access to our
Uh,
Zoom account?
No, because everything gets more complicated. She has to, in order to somebody else to start, then we have to have buy another license thing, part of the package. So she can be a host, like I can start it and turn it over and leave. But in order for her to access the account, she needs to be on, there has to be another license. So you can buy different licenses for your accounts.
So only one person can really initiate a meeting.
So the Tunbridge
Hmm.
administrative assistant account is the only one with the license at the moment. But you could, I'll just start it for her. I'm not doing anything else. And then, and then if I'm not going to be at the meeting, she can just be co-host. I don't even have to have my computer on. So
Right.
at the moment, it's not really a big deal. Maybe we'll have meetings sometime. It won't be a problem.
Is everybody ready to scroll a little bit?
I'm ready.
They're all depending on you, John, I think. Gary's needs to eat his dinner.
Yet to come.
What are you having, Gary?
Salad. Green salad.
All right, so we have our whole policy in the body of this.
That should be the whole policy right there.
Okay.
I mean, that was just a cut and paste thing, so.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yep.
We should probably, just to be clear, say something that Betsy Race wants to get done, and she wants the select board to appoint another health officer. Because it almost sounds like we're going to double the position there.
So she can step down.
Right, yeah.
And maybe we need to double the health officers.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not going to work out yet because just to say something about that right now, I called Dave Egham, who she suggested, and Dave said he couldn't do it right now, but maybe in about 8 months he could. So for now, we're going to have to rely on Betsy or another replacement.
We could bring that up at town meeting too.
Yeah. Dave said he'd be happy to, but he was trying to deal with Social Security issues or something right now, so he just couldn't do it.
Trying
He
to
would-
say we're gonna be stuck with Betsy.
Well, we might have to be.
Just like her neighbor. She wants more time for tractor pulls.
Well, summer's coming.
Summer's coming.
John Echeverria is spelled wrong there, Wendy.
I was wondering how to spell that. But then I was like, John will tell me how to spell it. How do you spell
Well,
it?
no, there's no S there. I think it's,
Yeah.
we should probably.
Oh, look
I
at
think
that.
Does that recognize, if you spelled that name in the past, does it recognize your, whatever program you're using?
It just took the red line off of it now, so. I don't
Right.
know.
Well, I was wondering if it remembers names.
I don't know, maybe that's just a name that is out there. I was trying to find it, but
Well, the rest of it looks accurate to me.
Yeah,
try not to make too much stuff up.
I make a motion, we accept the February 2nd select board meeting,
Oh, February 9th.
9th. I was close.
You're pretty close.
I second that.
All right, all in favor of accepting the minutes from February 9th, say aye. Aye. Unanimous.
You want to do road report?
Yeah, go ahead.
14.
I talked to Rodney and he said things were going pretty well, but they had a coolant hose leaking on Larry's truck. And he said he couldn't even see most of it, so they shipped it down to Lebanon to have Freightliner replace it. And apparently it's a common problem with that cab and engine. But that was about the only, oh, and they got the platform for the front end loader.
Yep.
And then he gave us, I don't know if you saw him, but he got the quotes from Tenco and Fairfield.
Yep.
For the body and plow. And Tenco's, I mean, Fairfield's about $10,000 more than Tenco. So
It's 14,000, isn't it?
yeah,
It's 54,429 versus 40,779.
yeah. So to me, we don't have to think about it long, but which one we want to do.
Well, plus the fact that, well, not that it makes a difference, but Tenco is in Barry and Fairfield,
Right.
what Concord.
When Rodney wanted to get a second quote,
Yeah,
just to make sure Tenco wasn't sticking it to us, and Fairfield said that they could do it fairly soon, whereas Tenco said it's going to be, 3-4 months. And so Rodney got pretty excited about that, but for $14,000, I guess we can wait a couple months. That's my thinking.
yeah. Well, yeah, and if we okay it tonight, then maybe, who knows, somebody else might back out and we can get it done a little quicker.
Yeah.
Never know. Yeah, I like that Tenco bid. So if someone would make a motion,
I'll make a motion that we accept the Tenco bid on the truck body, sander and plow for $40,779.
I second that motion.
all right, if you no more talking, if there's no more things to say about this.
Gary,
No more talking.
No more
so,
talking.
but we can use the Dodge for 2 or 3 months, right? Until we
Yeah.
take possession.
Rodney said something else. Oh, he's having problems with the lights on that now. Some modular for the plow lights or something works sometimes and sometimes it don't. But so I think his plan is to, use it as little as possible and move it on down the line, so we don't put any more money in it.
Yeah,
So, well, we might be without our 1 ton for 2 or 3
No.
months.
No, we'll have it. We'll have it until, I think, until we get the new truck. But he just doesn't want to use it anymore and he has to.
right.
So when you do a trade-in, like Key Chevrolet's okay, even though their part of the deal's done.
Yeah, I think so. That's what usually happens.
Right.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well, good. Let's vote.
motion and second. Let's vote on it. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, who's going to be responsible for telling Rodney that he's,
I'll tell him.
okay, thank you. All right, what else in the road report? Anything?
No, he said everything was going pretty smooth except for Larry's truck there.
Yeah,
And everything else was going all right.
yeah, sand pile looks smaller than it used to, but it looks like it's going to hold out fairly well.
Yeah.
And we have a ton of crappy weather for March.
Yeah, my road's all pretty near all bare today.
Yep,
Or probably not bare, but the sand's poking up through.
Right down to the pavement.
Yeah, right down the pavement.
that's Monarch
Yeah.
Hill.
Gary, how's Andy doing with the snow removal?
He hasn't complained about it, and I guess you could ask Mariah if he's doing well at the library.
Oh, he's been on it. Did a good job.
Good.
It's hard to be on it with the snow coming off the roof. I think, like, you can't tell when that's happening. So as long as he doesn't mind us calling him now and then.
Yeah, no, he every time there's a flurry or something, he goes and checks it. So as
Yeah,
far as I know, he's
yeah.
doing fine.
No, thank you to him for sure.
Must be spending a lot of time riding the roads there every time we get a flurry. We've been getting them pretty steady here.
He doesn't mind riding the roads. Okay, I guess that's a road report.
Road report. All right, so the next item is accept the library trustee resignations of Billy Smith, effective February 26th, and then Fern Strong effective March 31st.
I guess I make a motion that we accept the library trustee resignations of Billy Smith effective February 26th, 2021. And Fern Strong effective March 31st, 2021.
I second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Okay, and thank them. I
Yes.
think Fern's
Thank
on.
them.
It was very nice of them to.
Yeah.
Yes, put that in the minutes, Wendy.
Appreciations for everybody's time.
Pat on the back.
Thank you, Fern. She's on his. I don't know if Billy, I don't think Billy's on. Okay, so then appoint replacements for the library trustee position. And there's 3 positions to fill. Because one of them was from Eve from the
Yep.
last meeting. And so I sent you guys a little list of all the positions, but I can go over what they are if you want me to.
Sure, review, just so everyone knows.
Okay, so Eve was going to be up at town meeting, so her position goes until May 22nd this year, and then if that person gets reelected, it will be into a 3-year position. So that's one position. And then Fern's position is up 2022 at town meeting. And then Billy's is 2023. So those are the 3 positions that are up. And then we have, I believe we have 3 people on the meeting. We have Anna, Anita, and Michael. are all jumping forward to fill these spots.
Well, they're all appointments just until town meeting. As far as we're concerned, right?
Yep.
Oh, you don't appoint them to take over the whole thing?
No,
They have to
just
get
till,
elected.
just till town meeting.
Oh, so they all go until town meeting. Okay, well, that makes things easier. I didn't realize.
But I wondered if the potential new trustees have choices of which
Right.
trustee they'd like to replace.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So I was appointed to take over the slot for someone whose term was going to end in 2022. That was the first resignation you had a while back. And I guess my question is, do the terms still run to those dates? Like if I put my name up at town meeting and I was appointed, would I be appointed to that same slot that would expire in 2022? Or does it start over at the 3-year mark from town meeting? And the
Well,
reason I
probably
asked that,
They're
well, the
probably
reason I,
staggered, aren't they?
Yeah.
well, I would hope so, because if they did all start at town meeting, we would potentially have 4
Right.
trustees wrapping off at the same time every, I mean, you would be in that pattern. So that was just a question I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I think you'd have to run again at town meeting, but you could do it for the slot
Right.
that expires in 2022. And if there's another one that expires in 2023, that person, they're still gonna have run at town meeting, but they should be staggered.
Right, good. That would be, I think that would be good for the board because you wouldn't have a
Right.
complete turnover every 3 years, so.
Right.
So Eve's position was truly finished in 2021.
Yep.
So she'd be a full 3-year term. And then the others might just stagger depending on when they would have ended. Okay, very good. Thank you for clarifying that.
But it's up to the moderator really to make that clear to town meeting voters too, like this trustee position that these candidates are running for is, starts now and goes for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. And you can all run for whichever those pleases you too.
And we also got to clarify that in the town report too. Make sure that everybody knows that there's 3 positions to be voted on, or 4 positions this year, I guess.
There would be 4, that is correct.
Yeah.
And one would be a full 3-year term.
Yeah.
And then one would go to 2022. And 2 would go to 2022 and 1 would go to 2023.
Yeah.
Great, that would work out very well.
All right.
That's why we wondered if the prospective trustees had actually sort of said, oh, we'll call it the Fern slot or the Billy slot or the, just because it would make it easier. Because we'll probably put them down as appointed to fill that position until town meeting. And then at that point, they could run for whichever, one they wanted to, but just for now.
Well, all we have to do for right now is just appoint them till town meeting and then they can fight it out which slot they want.
Yeah, that's a good question, Mike, whether we have to specifically appoint the 3 prospective, a certain prospective one for a specific resigning one tonight. And go through all 3 that way. I don't know. I would assume it's probably a good idea to do it that way.
If I could just make one point. So the one position is a resignation effective February 26th. So one of the appointees would have to be ready to step up at that date. The second one is February 28th. So we need somebody ready to go then. And the third isn't until March 31st, which if someone needed,
So
March.
that's a good idea. Let's just appoint them for the dates and not for the person that they're replacing then.
Right.
And then town meeting, May 22nd, will be a whole new
Right.
event. Okay, that sounds great.
So do Anna, Anita and Michael, are they on board tonight so they can speak and see which they'd want to do?
I'm open to anything.
Yeah, I think I'm also open to anything, maybe a slight preference for the later starting date, if that works.
Okay,
Well, I don't know if Michael wants to say anything, but as he was in the running with Teresa, I would propose that he fills Eve's slot. The earliest date.
I'm not the earliest date.
I believe
Who's-
Billy is the 26th.
Oh, okay.
Only 2 days difference really, but
You're the 28th, Eve?
Yeah, I was finishing out the month.
Okay.
all right. So let's put Michael down as the 26th and Anita and the 28th and Anna at March 31st.
Sounds good.
All right. Does
So
someone-
moved.
All right, John, you're quick.
I second it.
All right, unless we've got something more to talk about, let's vote on this. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, you're welcome.
am I
You can
allowed
all
to
start
make
your election campaigns.
Okay. Am I allowed to make a comment? It's not public comment time or anything, but I just wanted to say that the hiring committee has been doing an outstanding job. Anna is one of the committee members. And so the trustees are kind of working hand in hand with the hiring committee, but in essence, we're two separate entities. So even though we're going to have some change in the trustees, I don't think we're going to lose anything on the hiring process, which we're working very hard to have that underway by town meeting. So I think we're on track for that. But thank you very much for the select board. We've kept you busy these last few meetings.
That's okay.
Thank you.
You're on that committee too, Teresa, right?
I am.
Right.
All right.
That good?
Yeah, I think that worked.
The next person is Mick, but I don't think I see him on quite yet. I don't think. Is Mick here? No. So we might have to maybe see if he comes on later in the meeting and move the transfer ticket.
Yep, that's okay.
That okay with you, Gary?
Okay with me. Let's rearrange the order.
Arrange the order. The transfer station grants discussion. Remember there was that,
Mhm.
that grant thing out there, and did you guys look at those numbers from the
Costello
Casella?
wasn't too happy.
They weren't too happy, they.
So hard to please.
What kind of shape is the hut in?
I don't think it's too bad.
I'm just trying to think of any other infrastructure there that it would make sense to put some money into.
I don't know, I can't think of anything in particular.
Heating units?
Well, I think the compactors have been working relatively well this winter because Mike was telling me the last time I saw him, that the Casella people or whoever services the compactors showed him there was a switch or a fuse or something to check. And ever since then, things have been going okay. So maybe the heating units are a non-issue now.
And Mike said he got down there real early and started heating things up, so
Yeah,
that probably helped.
it seems like if there's going to be a cold day, it's on a Saturday.
Mike, can you think of anything that might need improvement there?
No. No.
What
We
was
get, could we get a light for the East Bethel dump? So we can see at night?
oh, you work there at night?
Well, that's when you get rid of your rubbish.
That's when it's open,
Yeah.
from midnight to 4 a.m.
Is, the fence is all good?
No,
All
the
of it?
backside. I think the backside, we need some more stockade fencing for. We could order another 20 sections or something, or 10 sections. And gates too. I mean, those,
Yeah,
I don't know. Those front ones, there's one that's pretty dinged up, but does the other one, there's a gate also on the exit side, Gary?
Yeah, I think so. I go through there all the time, but I don't pay attention.
And there's nothing up to the town garage, right?
No.
So that, it might be worth putting a gate in there, even if we didn't use it that much, but just if there was ever trouble with people sneaking around that way, at least you could have the option of closing it.
Yeah.
oh, Rodney told me that, they had, he got that sign that said, don't climb into the.
It
and
got
he had to-
stolen.
He had to fish that out because somebody ripped it off, threw it into the,
You had to climb in.
well, I
We
don't
should have got a
think
picture
Rod,
of that.
I don't think Rodney climbed in, but
See
Well, he's
Jim Ware climbing out of the metal recycling, holding that sign.
Make a good photo, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah, he was gonna put it on a stronger post or something so that it can't get ripped off quite so easily. I don't know
Wendy,
when,
was it, how specific did you have to be about the grant? For what you were gonna use it for?
I think you sort of, because some of the grants are 60-40 and some are 40-60, but it was, I think you had to not be super specific, but you had to, I mean, if you said fencing and you had 2 years to use the money,
I think maybe gates and fencing if we put in for, what's a good number, you guys?
do you remember how much those sections were for the fence, John?
No. Guess we could ask Gordy.
Right. And how quickly do we have to get that in, Wendy?
I think it was mid-March.
Okay, so we need to know by next meeting then.
Yeah. Do you want me to look into like gates? Do we need fencing or just gates or fencing panels? What are you talking about?
I would put both, just
Okay.
so it gives us more flexibility.
Okay, I can ask Gordy. And then, yeah, I mean, we can always put in for it and see what it comes back at, and then you can always decide then if you want to go through with it or not. Plus, like they said, it's a couple of years to spend the money, so.
Right,
we need another signboard for the dump.
we do.
Well, I'd like to have a bulletin board there or something so we could post things like if we're gonna have a hazardous waste day or something like that. It'd be kind of neat to have something there so we could let people know about it. But I mean, that could be as simple as, not as simple as just a piece of plywood, but something like that that would reinforce plywood on some posts or something.
Well, get one of those You can get a board like the signboard, the old signboard,
Yeah,
and get a big one that's just one-sided or something, stuff up there somewhere.
right. I don't know what that costs, but
Some you can change the letters on, and
Like a permanent sandwich board kind of thing.
yeah,
yeah,
And then Mariah can come up with
drive down.
inappropriate things to put on it.
Come on now. It wasn't inappropriate. It was a great sign. Even Jean approved it.
witty and appropriate.
Witty inappropriate dump haikus. Good. All right. Well, maybe what's our budget range? Something like, up to 4,000. And we'd be on the hook for 1,800, something like that.
Yeah,
That seems worth it because we're going to have to replace the stockade fence at some point.
it's something we need to do anyway, eventually.
Okay, so you're thinking of the gate, the panels, and then some kind of bulletin board or sign?
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
probably, if we're gonna put a gate up, going back up into the town garage area, it ought to be fairly wide, so it might actually have to be two gates that swing from each side so that.
Sure, if I ask Gordy, he'll know,
Right.
I just tell him what we're thinking, he'll know exactly. I won't have to give him too many details.
But we don't want a little tiny gate that the road crew can't plow snow through or something, and then they end up knocking it down, so.
All right. No tiki bar down there?
We could do that for the summer.
It'd be popular on Saturday mornings.
The River Cafe and transfer station.
Yeah. Future in it.
Well, we can't make any money though. Remember, the town can't make any money, so everything.
Well, I'm sure we won.
We just put farm in the name or something. We could be a nonprofit.
We could just walk the food scraps over to the bins.
All right. All right, so up to.
Maybe
4
chickens. We could get a whole herd of chickens.
Yeah, it's called a flock, John.
That's right. Your flock of cows.
Now and again, they flock.
They flock down the hill to the Tunbridge hill farm.
Yep. All right, is that enough talk about that whole grant thing, Wendy?
Yeah, so up to 4,000 and that would be, yeah, that would be, okay, yep, I'll come up with something and then the next meeting we'll refine it more.
Okay,
Yeah,
All
good.
right.
Thank you.
And then, so I don't see Mick, he hasn't been on yet, so.
Mick or his proxy.
yeah,
Or proxy, minions.
lights are on.
Approved warrants. Approved warrants.
All right, has anybody seen the warrants?
I went through them and I guess they look all right. We're just over budget on a number of things.
Whoops, already? Holy smoke.
Yeah. A chloride tank, but we only had $200 in
There he
that,
is.
and they had to do a bunch of work on it. And then we're getting up there on chloride, and we've gone over on signs. And garage miscellaneous. I don't know what that is.
Might
There's
be-
Mick's joined us. Should we backtrack?
We can.
Sorry I'm late, guys. I lost track of time.
Can you see if Gary's light's on?
Yeah.
Looks like they are.
I'll flash them for you. All
They
right.
get
Mike.
arrested for that sort of thing.
Yeah. So what do you have for us tonight?
What I have is I actually have a test page up and going. I believe is pretty much fully functional. I don't know, is there a way I can share
Yep.
that on this Zoom?
Yep, you need to share. Let me see. Do this. Okay, so. You're a co-host now, Mick, so you should be able to,
All right. I'm trying not to let the power go to my head.
you could do whatever
There
you
we go.
want. You could rename us all.
All right, so hopefully you can see that screen.
I can.
Well, this obviously is the Selectboard page, but if I go to here, can you see this screen? It says test page.
It says test page.
So this literally Jeff just threw it together very quickly with the code I gave him from Shopify, but this is all working. I mocked up the tickets. It's horrendously easy to make fake dump tickets. But I did put the word sample all over them.
Yeah.
So literally you could come in here, so I could say, I want to buy 3 $30 tickets, add it to my cart. Boom, here it is. Special instructions if there are any, otherwise we can just check out.
So how do you get to this test on the website? How do you get there?
So it's literally at the moment, it's live, but it's not in the navigation deliberately.
Okay. So there'll be
But
some,
if you put test minus page at the end of tunbridgevermont.org, you would get there.
oh,
The payment options aren't set up quite right at the moment. I don't know, can you see this payment window, or is it popped into a different, I think it's popped into a different window.
We can't see it. Where would you navigate just to find this? Would it be the pull down under services, Mick?
It's not on any of the menus. So let me just,
But ultimately it would be where?
wherever you guys would want it.
Okay.
So I would suggest it was linked from the transfer station or something like that, but
Where do we find where do we find transfer station? Is
under
it there?
services here?
Services, okay, that makes sense.
You could have a sort of a buy dump tickets or something here. Yeah, I
Just
can't show you the
purposes,
payment thing, but what happens is when I hit the checkout, it launches a little window for me to put my payment information in. There's a few things we've got to do to make that work. The options I have here at the moment, for some weird reason, are Google Pay. But it'll take Google Pay, Apple Pay, credit cards. If we wanted to, you could sign up to use PayPal as well. I think that's got a higher fee though. And I'll show you just behind the scenes a little bit. So we have this whole storefront thing here for whoever would be taking the orders and processing the orders to use. So they would appear here, and there's all email notification or what have you when a new order comes in. And you can use this to manage, if somebody's bought some, you would manage it here. You could create the shipments from here. The shipping fees I've set up, but we'd need to visit. And I realize this is going to be a lot for somebody to digest. So I'm very happy to do some sort of handover on this and help and training. But if I look under here, like shipping and delivery, what I did was I thought to myself, well, there's 2 ways we can cover the fees. And one would be to make the price of a ticket like $30 plus a shipping and handling or some sort of handling charge. And I thought that might get confusing. And it also might mean that if somebody put several of them in the cart, they would get lots of shipping. So I thought, well, let's try and bake the fees into the shipping costs. I'm just trying to find them here now. Here we go, manage rates. And I just came up with this idea, but we could tweak the levels. So you charge a fixed shipping and handling fee based on the face value of the tickets they were buying. Because you've got the 2.9% credit card transaction, you've got whoever's time is doing it, and you've got the postage fee to sort of take into account. So I made these numbers up, but we could tweak them however you wanted to. That's about it, really. There's not a lot on here because I mean it's not charging tax and what have you. The orders would come in. I believe the way we got it set up as well, that as soon as we'd shipped, we could put the information in and people would know it had shipped to them and it was coming in their mailbox. So I've gone through that real quick. What questions do you guys have?
So we'd end up with shipping and billing addresses, names and addresses.
Yeah.
So, and then it would recognize those again too, potentially. So if you were a regular customer, it would.
Yeah, it maintains a customer list. If you really want to get deep into this, you can do customer analytics and see where your customers live and how much they have spend and all that sort of thing. And you can do marketing campaigns and all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff, which is probably way more than we need. But yeah, it tracks customers. We can set as many products up as we like. They're in here. And the products could, I mean, if the town wanted to, you could sell t-shirts and bumper stickers. I mean, it would work through this. So just for the sake of getting this going, I set it up on like my credit card to pay for it for $9 a month. And I'm happy to just write that off for the town, but we'll need to transfer that over if we want to go live.
So we transfer that to the town's credit card, you mean?
Yeah, so the way it's all set up at the moment, I'm paying for it and I haven't got, and this is part of the setup we would still need to do. Obviously, I don't have the bank information for the town. So in order for the payments to flow to the town from the credit card payments and what have you, that needs setting up in here. We'd want to set the email address to be whoever it is, whether we want a new dedicated email address for these orders, or whether we want it to be the treasurer or the town clerk or what have you, that, the emails from the site come from or what have you. But there's details like that. There's probably about, 15 minutes worth of setup still to do. And then Jeff would need to, he'd need to put it on somewhere that's available, like the dump page. Sorry, the transfer station. I guess we shouldn't call it the dump.
Okay, well, I guess that all sounds good to me.
I might suggest we just give it a try. I probably need to work with Becky to get the right information in here and get her a login. We can always tell people we're just piloting it for a month to see if there's interest or something.
Well, yeah, especially, I think Becky's okay with it, but maybe we ought to check and make sure first.
Right. Of course, she's not on tonight.
Right.
Can I
That
ask a
sounds like,
question? This is probably not that important, but are people still allowed to buy them as well? Or is this just like kind of all or nothing? Like from the library, I mean.
No, I hope
It's
we can
just-
buy them at the library because that's where I'm going to do it.
it's just an alternative, Mariah.
Oh, cool. Well, just it brings so many people to the library when it's open again. I was like, oh no, but that's great. I like having options for sure.
There is an option I haven't set this up for, which is what Shopify calls pick up in store, which we could allow people to buy them here and pick them up at the library prepaid, but that would be more work for the library. But if you wanted to consider that, we could add that in.
I think if they could just buy them at the library and having this option,
Right.
I don't think that picking up at the library is necessarily important if they can already buy them there. But that's
Right.
a good idea. Yeah.
The only thing that would add would be the ability to buy by credit card and pick up at the library over and above what we currently do. But like I said, I don't know if that's important.
I think we should do a soft launch and keep it as simple as
Keep it
possible.
simple, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Right. I think just what Mariah was asking is the big thing will be just say, if you're happy with how you get your dump tickets, just keep doing that. But if you want to do it online, that's an option now. So I think, and it looks like Mick, you and Becky and Jeff, I think you're the three key people here to kick it
Okay.
off.
So if you guys are happy, I can take the next step and reach out to Becky, and we can put our heads together and try and get it live.
Sounds great. Should we make a motion on this, Gary, or are we already?
Probably we should. Or at least some sort of official, yeah, probably a motion would be good, just because then it's I don't know, Mick isn't just going out and doing it on his own, so to speak, so.
Mick, when do you think you could get this going?
Well, obviously it would depend upon other people's schedules, but the amount of work is very small. I think it's possible we could get it all live within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So
I'm not a computer person, so I probably won't use it, but I'm really excited about it. I think it might work well, so I'd like to see it happen.
So if we said,
Sorry,
I move-
Nick, actually, I do think it's a good idea to have the pickup at the library option if that makes it harder. I was just thinking about it and like, I don't think it's, if it's harder for you, but I do think it would be, I can see myself liking that option because if you don't have a check or cash or something, you know. Or something.
That was why I suggested it, but coming back to what John just said, I think maybe if we went live without that and we could add that,
Okay.
because there will be some logistics to work out.
True. Okay.
that's phase 2.
Well, let's have a motion from someone then that can officially get this thing underway.
I make a motion that we have Mick get together with Becky and Jeff and set up the online ticket sales.
Go live by March 15th.
Well, whenever you can do it.
Yeah, before March 15th, probably good, right?
Sure.
And we can probably, if you guys are happy, we can probably let people know on Facebook or something that it's there to try once it's in an operational state.
I think it's a great idea.
I second that motion.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Looks great, Mick. Thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Can I make a quick suggestion? I don't think it says anywhere on the website the difference between what you would use a $3 versus $2 versus $1 ticket for. And as someone who mistakenly bought a whole cart of $2 tickets when what we really needed was $3 tickets, that might be just something to add in quickly there, which especially if you're getting them online and just using that info.
I can absolutely add, I think below where it says the title of the product item or what have you, I think I can put a little description that just says best for what have you. Yeah. I assume we've got that elsewhere on the website. Or I guess I can look it up somewhere.
I'm not
It's
sure.
probably, it
I actually
matches.
don't think it is on the website. I looked on the transfer station page of the website and didn't see anything there. So maybe that's internal knowledge when you would pick them up in person before.
Gotcha. Yeah, it isn't on here at all, right? So I will need that information from somebody then too. I just buy the $3 ones, but
Yeah, me too.
I think originally they were based on sort of what gallon garbage bag you used, right?
I think so.
so small bags were $1 or something.
Yeah, and I think we charge what? I think we still charge $2 for tires, for instance. So if you wanted to get rid of some tires, you could buy the $2 models. But it's all math anyway.
So do you want to put something else where on the website and have me link to it here, or do you want it just based with the tickets, or because that's going to come down to whether it's me or Jeff or what have you, and I'm also going to need some guidance on the info.
I think Anna's right that it'd be great if it was right on here, just so people don't
Mhm.
have to
Yeah.
navigate around looking for it.
So if somebody could send me the charges, like $2 for tires and $3 for a exercise can or what have you, then I can put that in here.
Okay. Wendy, can you root around and see if that exists somewhere?
I was just gonna say, John, you probably have that knowledge. Okay, so where would that exist?
Becky might have something to do with it, but I'm not sure.
Okay. It
Because
might
we
be
need to
like
make-
institutional knowledge that was just lost.
Yeah,
Well, it's probably
Remember-
like
Sorry, go
the
ahead.
$3 ones are like, what are the really big bags? Like 45 gallons, and a $2 like a 30 gallon, and a 1 is like a 13 gallon kitchen garbage bag, something like that. And then we could also put down tires or 2. Your average tire, I mean, it's not like tractor tires or truck tires or 2, but
well, that brings up another issue is we need to get the list of stuff for Mike to actually to post it at the dump or whatever, so that everybody will know what everything costs.
right, yeah.
Like that great big long list we had from the town of Bradford, that we don't need that many different items, but we need to make it clear to people,
Well,
Put it on
that's
the
another
little
thing.
signboard.
right?
Our grant or signboard could have that up,
Right.
or Janet could print something up.
Right. Yeah, Janet, that would be a good thing for Janet to do. One of those nice banners that she makes.
Okay, so we need a list and then Janet would post it. I mean, Janet would make it a list of the costs of things, of items.
Mhm.
Okay. And then if that was on the website,
Right,
then maybe people could look it up and then they could decide what tickets or combination of tickets they might want or something.
right. Yep,
And I can add, as requested, I can also put some little guidance here that sort of says like best for large barrels, best for something, and maybe
Right.
Maybe Jeff can also link this page to the guidance as well as putting it on the other page.
yep. All right, looks very professional.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm already spacing here. Did we vote on that or did we not? We had a motion, but
I believe we voted on it.
all right.
All right. That's all good.
So
then?
maybe next meeting, Mick, if you can join, we can just proof it and send it live.
Awesome. We'll do that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So-
thank you.
So John, am I taking it you don't want me to tell anybody about it until then, or you just want to do an official announcement then, or do you sort of mean if I have it ready in a week, do you want me to hold till the next meeting for you guys just to make sure you're happy with it?
Probably one of us,
Okay.
Gary or
I
Wendy.
was just trying to be clear,
take a
that's
look.
all. Yeah,
Right.
okay. I will do that.
And it's easy to change too, right? If we're like, oh no, it's,
There's not a great deal we can do in like moving things around on the page or what have you, other than like the order of the products, but
no, if we just had some copy wrong, it's easier to edit
Yeah.
that, right?
that's very easy, yeah.
Or we want to update it, right? Like from now on,
Yeah,
a pickup load of trash, is
Yeah,
either we're not inviting or it's so much money, yeah.
it's $1,000 ticket.
The golden ticket.
Yeah, I can show Becky or whoever how to add new products on there or what have you. And of course, I'm happy to just support this thing going forward.
All right. Thank you very much.
Who's gonna check with Becky.
I was going to reach out to Becky and to Jeff and try and see when the three of us could get together to finish it off, ready
Okay.
for go live.
Great. All right,
All right.
Good.
back to the warrants.
Oh,
Thank
Warren,
you, Mick.
Welcome.
thank you. Oh, but Mike looked over the warrants and the warrants look good to him. Is that correct?
Yep. I make a motion, we approve the February 23rd, 21 warrants as listed.
All
I
right.
second.
All right. All in favor of accepting the warrants from, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll stop by tomorrow and I'll sign said warrants.
Sign the Tenco contract too.
Okay, I'll write that down. Sign warrants. All right, what next, Wendy?
You're muted, Wendy.
Other business.
Nope.
Um,
Does anyone have any other business?
there was some stuff from Laura Ginsburg about the planning commission and the whole trails meetings, wasn't there?
It was. I'm looking it up as we speak. Don't know. I don't know, what do you want to pass along, John? She,
I don't know. It was nothing that we can make motions on, but it
Right.
was, I think she was asking about getting together with VLCT, the league. And then there were,
I wrote them and I haven't heard back and I'm thinking that maybe because of town meeting coming up that they're swamped with.
I bet.
yes,
So,
she said she hasn't had a response from them. But
Plus
she's-
the legislature
Right.
takes a lot of their time.
Anyway, they're looking to have a meeting on either March 4th or 18th.
Okay. We were gonna hear a total for the appropriations at some point. Didn't we have to approve that? Oh, and your warning, your sample warning too of town meeting.
my sample warning, yeah, you want me to put my sample warning up?
Sure.
Now I'm gonna have to change the library thing around because now I understand that everybody gets,
Mick can cover it with the with watermark samples in the background, so people understand it's just a sample.
let's see. Find it, town meeting. So. This is, I'll just do a quick scroll, but it goes like that.
Mhm.
Um, And I haven't, so be the moderator, here are the reports. Yeah, there was a lot of interesting information out there on how things should be. And I sent around a link to that Vermont League of Cities and Town document that had the sample warrants, like article number 4. I don't think we had that on our other one, but this one, it said you either authorize the town treasurer or the town manager.
Mhm.
That's why I stuck that in. And I think if you don't authorize either of those two, then I think the constable has to collect them or something like that.
Oh, really?
So.
We've never had that, yeah.
And then number 5. So I didn't put the amounts in yet because we can do it. You can say, you could split it up into highway and general all in one paragraph. But if you wanted to just break it up so people saw it broken up, or you can do it as one lump sum, they said. This is the one lump sum.
What have we done in the past? I know we give different reports for general and highway, but do we vote it as a lump sum or do we vote them as 2 different?
We usually have them posted as 2 different ones. Or
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right.
I guess I'd rather have that, but
Well, last year, there wasn't the specific amounts. It said, will the town vote to approve the budget of general fund and highway for fiscal year? So it was just,
I think that so that you can, if somebody wants to change something, that it can be changed. Rather than having a specific figure right here.
yeah, and they said that when you're writing it, to write it, like, think of it as if it was going to be an Australian ballot, so that then it would need a figure, and then if the figure needs to be changed, you can amend it. But that people are voting on, like, they have the figure there. That was the best practices recommendation.
Well, I know we've done that in the past too, or at least the motion's very specific on that. It's just what you have there. It's like, the total fund is $500,000, of which 377,000 is to be raised by taxes, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I can use their other wording that just breaks those 2 things apart, which is probably good for people to know.
yeah, I think so.
But I wouldn't mind if it's not bad form, I think, to have 2 different articles, maybe one for general and one for highway, just so if there was, for whatever reason, there was trouble with one, it wouldn't drag down the other.
Right.
Okay.
I'm confused by on number 5, Article 5, it says expenses of blank dollars of which shall be raised by taxes. That doesn't confuse me, but by non-tax revenues, exactly. I know what non-tax revenues are, but I don't understand why it's written like that.
I think that, so this was how they worded it in their thing. And I think so. If, remember your non-tax revenues, I think it shows people like how much you're raising, it really breaks down the revenue aspect of it. Like, you need this much money to
Yeah.
pay for the town services, and we're gonna get this from out of your pocket and this from the dog licenses.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does, but it just, the way it's worded confuses me. And I guess it's just because we know how much we got to raise for the total budget. And then X amount is the amount to be raised by taxes, which is a smaller amount than the total. So it's kind of a different way to say the same thing.
Yep, I guess they just want you to be clear on the taxes. I think that's the main thing of like, this is what the town's raising in taxes.
Well, and it's all property tax too, right? It's not, we don't have, at least in Tunbridge, we don't have a local option tax, right? So
Yeah,
um,
I think there
that's
was
why-
wording for that too, for other types of taxes.
I think the non-tax revenues, it's confusing in some ways. I think just because they're non-tax revenues in town, like the dog licenses, but they're also federal and state grants. They're at least for the schools, it's tax revenue that goes through the ed fund. It's just, you know, a strange mix of a mysterious mix of property and income tax and rooms and sales and everything else. So I think even if it said, just keep as much as possible our wording from the past, because people understand there's that connection, and we could explain that smaller number to be raised by taxes, the remainder of that is from all these other sources.
Right, well, that makes sense, and I know it makes sense, but just the way it's worded confuses me, and I just worry that people will be confused.
I don't want anybody to be confused. I'm just cut and paste from their thing there. And I remember we are getting $15,000 from the trustees too. But they'll like it, I guess, if they see a smaller number coming from taxes. And then if people want to know why those two things aren't, we can take it out. I'll take it out.
Well, I think it's up to us, the select board, to, I think in our reports, we can certainly, since those figures are going to be out there already, I think we can describe to the voters what these figures all are without putting it there. Because if we added, say, a third line of money, it gets confusing, I think, to people. It's like, oh, this is from taxes, but what taxes? Is it property taxes? And this is non-tax revenue, meaning what? Then we have to explain what non-tax revenues are.
We could do that for an hour at least.
Yeah.
Okay, but they are suggesting that you definitely have numbers in this article. So do you want the numbers in there? The first numbers without the non-revenue numbers?
Yeah, you can put in operating expenses of 500,000, of which 200,000 shall be raised by taxes.
Right,
Right.
yes,
That's
that's,
what we've done.
All right. I can do that. All right. And then I'm gonna need a figure from the volunteer fire department, because that was another thing they said. There should be a number in there, and it can be amended or changed. And I did send out a letter a long time ago when I first found out about that to Simon, but I never heard back from him. So I don't know if he's an email checker, if anybody ever talks to him.
I can ask him, Wendy.
Yeah, so he'll have to, before this gets written up, we'll need a number from them. And
Yeah,
then,
I think they've already got it, actually.
okay. If we can get that number, that would be good. And then I can put it in there. And like I said, they said you can amend things on the floor.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
last year during the appropriations thing, when things got all
Right.
switched around.
Okay. So
And I
then,
think that I wouldn't include operating expenses. I don't know what just back to Article 5 a second, because a bunch of that stuff is for, capital improvement fund kind of stuff. So it's not,
Well, I'll say, I was gonna break that down because you guys wanted it to say highway and general fund.
Right.
The operating expenses was when they were all grouped together. So
okay.
other wording that says this much for highway, this much for general, of which this much will be raised by taxes.
Yeah, perfect.
That'll be good.
Yep.
I'm gonna plant people in the audience to ask questions.
All right.
Non-tax revenue. All right. So then Article 7 will be the appropriations, which we still need a total for, and then there'll be that, where that red is, will be the whole list.
Yeah.
And then they say it's good to have a little description, but since we put their whole page in, I just thought we could put a page number so people could refer to the agency.
Yep.
And then
That would be a first. That'd be really helpful.
It would be.
'Cause they're always saying, this is on page 35, and it gets confusing, I think, when you have to go through all 27 line item appropriations.
Yeah, and it said it should have a description unless it's obvious. And then I thought, oh, we don't have that. And I go, oh, but we have the whole report. And I go, oh, we could just put the page number. So
Yeah, that's good.
Article 8 is, so these are all the officers. And I will redo the library trustee one now that I know what that's up. And then the last three, I was confused about too, because I didn't know how long their terms were.
Well, the constables are 1 year.
Okay. Okay, so those will just get those will be up 1 year.
Yeah,
And then-
every town meeting they're up for reelection.
And then what about the
think-
collector?
I think that's 1 year.
I think that's 1 year.
That's 1 year too? Okay. All right, and then I'll fix the library trustees, and then these are all the other ones that, I put in what was on the webpage, and I talked to Dennis about the cemetery commission, because his term was up, and then he also said probably should find somebody to replace Euclid since he's not in town. So, but
Is Dennis getting done?
well, this was his term was up. So I mean, we could reelect him, but he was the one whose term was up.
Then he would be 3 years, wouldn't he?
I think.
I think Euclid is actually up.
So on the cemetery, on our webpage, somebody had put all the years that their things were up. So it says Dennis Silly 2021, Baxter Doty 2022, Euclid Farnham 2023.
I can maybe throw some light on it. Randy Chapman was elected and then resigned. And that's how Dennis got in there, I believe. So I think it was a partial term.
But if that term was finishing, then the terms are 3 years, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or did we appoint him just last year, Mick?
I don't remember when it was. I know that he did it for a little while and then stood down.
It was a few years ago when Dennis started.
Yeah,
That sounds like that would mean that we elected Euclid last year, which I don't think we did.
well, maybe we had to re-up him.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, we should look that up, I guess. Because they're staggered, right? There are 3 of them, and so there's
Right.
1 a year.
Yeah.
I thought I talked to somebody about Euclid and that it turned out he was going to be up for, I mean, his spot was up for the 3-year election, but all right, well, just double check that, Wendy, maybe.
Okay. I
And
mean,
then town clerk and treasurer are both not up this year.
they are not,
Oh, Mariah's gotta be up, right?
And she's got to be elected.
Because she was appointed, right?
Right.
okay. All right. Because that's the same as what happens with the,
Right,
with library trustees.
but then Jillian was serving out the remainder of Betsy's term, so I don't know when that actually ends now. Or, I mean,
Yeah, but Jillian got elected.
was Betsy's term up last March? So that was the end of her term, so Jillian got elected in whole for a 3-year term, or that's something I don't know.
Well, we appointed Jillian and then she got elected, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it was to
Right,
fill out the remainder of Betsy's or,
it'd be
It's
easy
a-
enough to figure out, just get a town report, but I don't
Yeah.
have it in right here. Or maybe I do.
There was, so town clerk was elected last year.
for how long?
It doesn't say. That's why they say make these things clear on the town warning. So that's why we're making them clear now. So it just says to elect town officers as required by law, and then it just lists everything, but it doesn't have the terms. And Euclid, it does say was elected last year as cemetery commissioner.
Uh-huh.
And so you elected Jillian last year. So that would mean that she was in for, how long do you usually elect town clerk for?
3 years.
Okay, so wouldn't she, if she was elected, wouldn't she be in for 3 years and then,
Well, unless she was,
It was like
Elected
these
to-
library trustees, if she was just appointed until the next election and then elected to fill out Betsy's term. We
right,
don't know that.
okay, I think there is a date on the town clerk page. Let me see if I
oh,
can.
oh, here we are. Well, it says here, town clerk Jillian Connor, term expires 2020.
That's from her appointment.
Well, and that's just what it says, so,
We may have to backtrack to a couple old town reports.
right. we have to go back and look
Back
at
on.
it.
That may have been the end of Betsy's.
Right.
Right. That's all I know.
Okay, well, Euclid doesn't make sense anyway. If we reelected him last year for a 3-year term and here we are a year later.
Well, Dennis had said that he's the one that said Euclid probably, his spot might need to be replaced. but-
Yeah, but it would be for 2 years.
Exactly.
Right. So whoever gets elected would serve out the remainder of Euclid's term.
Right.
Right. And Dennis's would be, if he was coming up, would be for 3 years.
Right.
Yeah, it says here, his term ends in 2021, so,
Yeah.
So Dennis would be for 3 years and,
Yep.
and whoever took Euclid's place would be for 2 years.
correct.
Yeah.
2 years, okay. Let me look up this. Town clerk. So.
Probably Mariah knows.
Hopefully somebody knows. Oh. Okay, so it says town meeting results, Jillian, town clerk to fill the remainder of 3-year term, 2022.
Ah,
So Mariah would be elected until 2022.
so for
I
one,
mean, she'll run to fill out the 2022 term,
right,
Right. So for 1 year.
Yep.
right?
Okay, so for clarification, you guys appointed her until town meeting.
Yep.
Right,
And at town meeting, which is May 22nd, she needs to be elected to fill out the remainder of till 2022.
right.
Okay. All right.
So Wendy, what, all those other positions, some of, we've gotten rid of? Like,
There-
I don't
Where
know, are
of
they-
coal,
Yeah, there was some that they said don't exist anymore. So they said
Right.
town agent
Town-
is not a thing. No more town agents.
grand juror.
They didn't say that that wasn't a thing. I
I
didn't,
don't think of the elected position.
did I have that on my list? I don't think I had it on my list. So yeah, I think we have to do town juror, grand juror. I think. I'll look on the thing again. If that's a thing, town grand juror, and I'll add it if it is. I don't know why it's not on my list unless on the other pieces of paper it says something. Okay.
Hmm.
So. Anything else? Those last 3 are all 1 year. Okay, so that's good. And then we're supposed to have voter registration information on our town warnings too.
oh, really?
Yeah.
How lengthy is that? Or-
How much is it gonna cost at the printers? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's that lengthy, is it? I think it's just, they're supposed to tell you how you can register to vote.
Hmm.
I think it's on all the warnings.
Huh. Not a bad thing. I just wondered how many pages long our warning was gonna be.
Well, it's pretty short. We don't have that much going on at the moment, unless you
The way
guys,
we like it. That's the way we like it.
and then the other thing is if there's other things you guys are bringing up at town meeting, like, I don't know if you're doing anything with that town plan that you're all working hard to read or anything like that.
That would be up to the planning commission, and probably would speak on that in their section of giving their officers reports. I would
Well,
think.
aren't you guys are supposed to vote on that at some point, aren't you? Isn't that where we're at on?
We got to vote to adopt it, but we don't have to do it at town meeting. We could do that at a regular select board meeting, I think.
Okay.
Just call it a public hearing.
I thought we had approved it already, or was that some subset of it?
Some part of it, but I think we have to go back and approve another amended version or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys and so that thing has some parameters, like we have to warn that.
Yeah.
So we need,
So Wendy, looking at an old town report for elected town officers, one thing we should put down is moderator, because we actually do elect that, but it's just a 1-year term.
so that's Article
And so-
1.
Yeah.
That's Article 1.
Right, but it under where are we all electing officers here?
In last year's town report, it's the first thing listed under elected. town
Right.
officers.
And then town clerk, town treasurer, we should put them on there, even if they're not up for election this year, probably,
On the warning?
but oh, not on the, right. No, we don't have to do it in the warning, just in the town report. Yeah. Sorry.
So here's, on Article 3, shall the voters authorize payment of real and personal property taxes on Monday, November 1st? So that's a Monday. And I just want to make sure that that works in terms of, because they said check the dates so it's by delivery to the town hall postmarked on or before that date with delinquent taxes, blah, 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 and all that. So you just think about, should taxes, is that work on a Monday, or does it need to be so people could postmark it? They have to be postmarked Monday, November 1st.
Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't work. It's always
Okay.
been November 1st.
Well, like they said, if the day you collect taxes on is on a holiday or a weekend, that you need to fix it so people don't, if people
Right.
think you can postmark it and the post office isn't open.
Right. But they can get a postmark on November 1st.
Yeah, so that's all good. There's no
Yeah.
holiday. That's not a problem. And that's the day.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted that clarified.
Wendy?
Yeah.
In an old town report, it says, will the town authorize the select board to borrow money as needed for current expenses in anticipation of taxes? We've gotten rid of that article.
We got rid of that because it's unnecessary, because you have the authority to do that
Anyway,
under VSA 1786. Yeah,
okay.
you guys can borrow all the money you want, I guess. But it says it's unnecessary because you have the authority.
Okay. And a couple of years ago, remember, we voted a surplus, $97,000 of surplus to, remember, reduce taxes and put the balance in the capital improvement fund. What happens when we have smaller surpluses?
Mm.
Does anybody know, if we had $3,000 or something, is it just not worth mentioning, or it's all there transparently in the, in our budget proposals, but it's,
That's an
I just
interesting
wondered.
question.
I mean, I can ask them about that question, just if you want to know, because it's sort of.
It was such a big amount,
Right.
in that one year, but I don't know if we need approval, if there's
I would think
is there a
that,
line somewhere?
I would think that anything that was surplus would have to be voted on, either to lower the taxes or put into the capital improvement fund or give it to the
Well,
fire
one of them can
department.
be rolled over, right? Is it highway can be rolled over,
Highway
but
can.
general can't?
Right, but generally can't.
Yeah, but
Right.
if you didn't do that, say it was $3,000, your books would be off by $3,000. You'd have that money
Right.
that wasn't accounted for somehow.
Right,
I had never thought about that. Well, we probably,
Maybe
ought-
Becky knows. We don't.
yeah, we ought to find that number out.
Yeah,
And we could always amend the amount, amend it at
Because-
the meeting day, so.
my thinking would be if we had a $100,000 highway budget and you had $10,000 surplus, then you'd drop your
Right.
highway budget by $10,000.
Right,
And carry it over.
Right, because you'd be still getting the full amount, but
Right.
you're just carrying some over.
Right.
Right.
have to just get from Becky those amounts.
And with a general fund, if we had $10,000 left over, then it should be put on the warning. And ask, with our suggestion of what to do with it.
Right, is that your stomach, John?
Yes.
Here it goes again.
Sounds like a big dog, my son.
All right, anyway, it looks pretty good, Wendy.
All right, well, I just wanted to sort of put out the first thing there and get the feedback, and so we're not cramming it all together at the last second. It was mainly all the offices and the officers that I was like, somebody must know all this information. But now I think I've got it straightened out, and I'll fix it all up and send it around again. And I thought I'd just get all the numbers right from Becky.
Yep.
What's the deadline, when people want to get in other business resolutions, those kind of things? Do we know?
Well, it'd be the same as,
Before
they
the-
have to have it in so many days before. It's gotta be in so many days before, so it can be put in the warning and printed and do all that whenever we're required to
Right,
have our stuff ready. That's when, I can't remember what the days are, if it's 30 or 45 or,
30, I think.
And is there a difference between someone just proposing something in another business or actually having it written up in the warning? I mean, they're all somewhat
don't
non-binding.
don't you have to have it written up to
Get
vote
voted
on it or whatever?
Well, you can't vote on anything money related on other business, but other business could be to thank Euclid Farnham for his many years of service, or thank John O'Brien, or something like that. But it's I can't think of what else you do under other business.
Well, like,
Well, we have those resolutions to.
Right.
Like
I was just looking at one.
I think don't the resolutions come under other business?
Sometimes they're their own article.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Well, and
So
also,
maybe-
well, go ahead, John.
No, so maybe that if you want your own article, right, Mike, it's got to be in, by regular deadline.
Right. If you want a special article,
And you may need to show us even petitions, that it has to be like 5% of the town's voters or something like that.
Yeah.
What are the resolutions?
You might ask the league about that, Wendy.
Well, you said we had resolutions or no?
No, I was wondering if we did, but just for us to know the rules for them in case any pop up. Like I'm looking.
It's all on their webpage. You want to know rules for resolutions if somebody brings one forward?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's all on their webpage. I can look it up.
okay.
Yeah, it's basically like it, nothing binding can happen in other business.
Right.
Right. No votes, probably.
Or I'm trying to think about that year where we, as a town, voted on a non-binding resolution against GMOs. And I think that was in other business, wasn't it? Or was it an article? I can't remember.
Yeah, I was just looking at 2017, the resolution about climate change
Right.
Okay, so that would
was its own article.
be, okay,
I think the GMO thing was as well.
was an article, okay. Yeah, I think it was. Oh, and then the other thing is, you guys should think about pre-town meeting, how we're gonna do that.
Yep.
We
Can
could
we do
Zoom
that
that.
as a, yeah, do it as a Zoom a week before?
Right, because I mean, we only have, I think we had 25 people at the meeting, at the pre-town meeting last year, so it's not that hard to Zoom 25 people. But maybe we'd have more on Zoom, I don't know.
Well, our accounts, I don't think gonna go over 100 people, but people double up in houses too, right? Like
Right, right.
everybody's household, so maybe we'll still make it under 100, but I guess I would just need to know when you want to do pre-town meeting and all the details so that I can get that out in some kind of announcement at some point. I mean,
Right.
that doesn't have to be now, but just think about it.
Usually a week before.
Oh, wait, but that's when town meeting's on a Tuesday. So if it's
Right.
on a Saturday, we might want to do it at our town meeting the week. I mean, at our select board meeting.
Right. So 22nd. So whatever the second Tuesday of May is.
Like Royalton's doing a regular select board meeting tonight, but part of the agenda is the pre-town meeting. It looks like the 8th. Is that right? The 18th? The 4th, no, wait, the 4th is the first Tuesday in May.
It'd be the 4th and the 18th.
No, well, we do the 2nd and 4th, right, Tuesday, so
Before.
our meetings would be the 11th and the 25th.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, we could do it on the 11th.
Yeah,
All right. Good plan. Okay, and then, I don't know if you have anything else to say about that, but there was that thing about road grants for FY '22, and I was talking to Gary about it. Did you guys know how that goes about, or if I have to do something about it?
You probably want to touch base with Rodney about that. I
Okay,
would think.
he must have done a lot of them.
so
Just
get in
Email
touch-
Rodney.
Because I think that's more him and Mariah
okay,
getting together, I think. Or you could help him, I mean. But I think it's more up to Rodney, you know.
okay, so, I wonder, Rod, does he have an email or no?
No,
No, that's what I didn't think, because I was like, so he doesn't get that information unless, okay. I'll make sure he gets it and then I'll check in with him and see how he wants to proceed with it.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That
Right.
it?
That's all I had on my questions.
Anything else from anyone else? How's the weather over in West Tunbridge? Looks bright and sunny in your house.
It's beautiful over here.
Sun shining through the windows?
Yep.
Yeah,
Roads are muddy,
This
just
is,
the way we like them.
sorry, this is Michael. Can you guys hear me?
yes, go
Oh,
ahead.
good. Sorry. By the way, the hospital called right as you guys were voting on the board stuff. So Mariah was like, hey, that's great. I said, what are you talking about? I'm curious to know, this is not related to anything you guys talked about, and hopefully this is the right venue. If not, maybe one of you can point me in the right direction. Is the town doing anything by way of, I don't know, surveying residents or seeing how we can facilitate getting people COVID vaccinated who are age eligible? And if not, I have some ideas, and I'm certainly sort of interested in seeing what we can do as a town to facilitate that for some of our older residents.
The town does not have a plan, so what do you offer?
So I had a couple ideas. The most aggressive would be, and I honestly don't know whether this is feasible from either a equipment standpoint or not, but one might be just to sort of look through the resident rolls and see who's eligible age-wise, and then either, one simple thing may be just to provide a phone number. I'm happy for that phone number to be me or somebody else in town who can both provide information and, if needed, transportation. Other ideas may be just people who would be willing to provide transportation. And then in the more extreme, I'm almost wondering if there's some way to either coordinate with Gifford or set up a vaccination site nearby, or even potentially go out to people's houses, though there are some technical challenges related to vaccine storage.
And would that be, if you were going to people's houses, would you coordinate with the either ambulance service that serves our town or something like that?
You could, although I'm not even sure that's necessary. I mean, I think if we had, healthcare volunteers who are, capable and credentialed to administer vaccines, and are provided with the right cooler equipment, I wonder if it's possible to, again, coordinate either with the state or with Gifford or Dartmouth or whomever else to get supplies if you know where you're going in advance, and just set that up, And I mean, certainly that is something that I would be willing to participate in. And I know there are a number of other healthcare professionals around who I think have the will to do that, although I don't know that officially.
Have you heard in your capacity as a doctor that there's been a problem with this, or are you just...
What I have heard anecdotally, and then, via public radio, and then just in some of my interactions with patients who come through the emergency department, is that transportation and scheduling has been sort of universally a challenge at times.
Yeah, okay.
I think Neighbors Helping Neighbors, isn't that phone number on our new sign out in front of the town clerks? Was that the clearinghouse for people that needed access? I thought Brenda had set that up. People didn't have computer access. They could call to get help to schedule.
I think you're right.
So maybe that's a good starting point. It's just to check in with whoever is coordinating that, you think?
Yeah, Neighbors
And Michael,
Help has a phone number.
I think it's Pat Howe.
Right.
Okay.
But Michael, also the church coordinates like super senior meals.
Yeah.
And so that might be a good place to start too. Like Nancy Chapman, some of those people would have a pretty good idea of who the 70 and up population is in town.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we have. Do we have data? I don't think anywhere of residents and their ages. I don't think so.
Other than just anecdotally, people like with the super seniors, they might have some information.
Yeah, those are good ideas. Great. I'll start there and see what I come up with.
Okay.
Let us know too
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do.
How-
We'll do.
how it goes.
Thank you for your enthusiasm.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second that.
All right. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Mariah was gonna tell us a good joke too, if she's still around.
It's not. Where did she go? I thought she was gonna give a long speech.
Well, that's what I thought too, ending with a good joke.
All right, I have a joke for you.
All right, step into Mariah's shoes.
I was prepared for once. Why do cows have hooves instead of feet?
I don't know.
Because they lactose.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Bad one.
Oh, man, that's awful.
That's gonna be dead tomorrow, Gary.
That's horrible.
That was one of them bad cow jokes.
Yeah.
You've just added to my dad joke repertoire. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a dad joke, bad cow joke. It's all the above.
It's almost a time joke.
For a sophisticated audience though, because you gotta know what lactose is, right?
Yes. All right, thank you very much for attending.
Thank you for having us.
All right, thank you, Mick. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mick.
Thank you, West
Good night,
Tunbridge.
all.
Good night. I'm gonna try to leave this meeting. Don't know how.